how's it in the name of Christ? How you doing? It's your girl Crancake Karabo. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're stellar, and I hope you're in a neat little bunch. If you're not, welcome to the party story of my life. Anyway, let me just put some caveats out there. Kindly look out for my captions. They're not always accurate. They sometimes use a small g for God, so they're not very reverential. They're sometimes the wrong word altogether. They're sometimes misspelled. That's not me. If it was up to me, I would edit them. If I had an incentive, really, to do that. But right now, my long-form content is not being viewed, so I don't do it. But just look out for the fact that they're not going to always be 100%. And then, y'all, like, if the demonic attacked me. Anyway, so I'm also very potentially wearing app makeup. If I am, you'll know. If I'm not, you'll also know. It tends to bounce off and on my face. I'm not shapeshifting. And then thirdly, I have a segment that I add into every last one of my videos. I just want to get it out of the way because I really want to just get straight into this. It's basically an empathy segment. My intention is to bring forth a blush to display that when you prick me, I bleed. When you afflict me, I get afflicted, etc. I'm only human, essentially, yeah, and I do this just like, yeah, the intention is to do that, really. Okay, so that's out the way, good, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to show you that I'm human. Guys, you know, thank God the days of warning are behind us. They have come and they've gone. I am exhausted. I have spent, I don't know how many years just trying to admonish or counsel women to really be wary concerning the dating pool and all that jazz, to not engage in recreational dating, okay? Because it could get you hurt. I focused on women because I'm a woman, and women are not to teach men according to the scriptures. The only time I speak to men is if I've got prophecy. Then I prophesy, but that's it, right? So my ministry has been largely targeted towards women, so I'm not deliberately trying to extract men from the narrative. It's just that's just the angle that I took when I came to Christ, for the reasons I've just highlighted above. And for years I have been explaining, guys, just getting into depth with my own stories and everything, just the dangers of dating, like the dangers of dating in the 21st century, and especially in Africa. I have just been getting into it at length, y'all. And these dangers do not only afflict women, they also afflict men. But like I said, I'm focusing on women because I'm a woman. But these things happen to men too. They do. All of us, men and women alike, have a prerogative to self-guard, self-protect. I don't know how many times I have said, I've said in my ministry that I wish that I was born again much younger. I got saved at 26. I'm 39 now. I wished that I could have gotten saved when I was very young, so young that I would never have partaken in dating just fecklessly for the sake of it. Enough to stay myself from having sex outside of marriage, essentially maintained in a virgin state and all that jazz, because I would have avoided a plethora of rubbish. A plethora. So I'm just gonna get into this video right now, where it is that I'm really just trying to reiterate stories that I've already told. I'm just telling them again because I'm presently super ridiculously bombarded by my ex-boyfriend. And I don't like to talk about this guy, neither do I like to highlight the things he's doing, because he's a person from long ago, and I'm done there. Do you understand? I want nothing to do with that, but it wants everything to do with me. What is this? I want nothing to do with it, but it wants everything to do with me, and it's really just trying to finish something that it started at its own peril, and it appears it's attempting to do that also at my own peril. Yo, my ex, yo, yo, guys, anyway, he, however, I will put this out there, is not the only one that's done this to me, so I am sending out red flags, warnings, cat eyes on a highway, so you can see your way at night as you're driving these streets of the world. In other words, as you're navigating your way through the earth, en route heaven, because that's what we're all gunning for, right? If you're in my ministry, my hope is that you're trying to get to heaven. Alright, I'm trying to put cat eyes, and lots of them, on the road so that you can know what not to hurdle over. Even as a Christian woman, I'm gonna give you my stories, like not all of them because there's quite a lot, but I will try and jam pack them in this environment. My ex-boyfriend, I spoke about him at length already in yesterday's videos, and I don't want to talk about this guy, but thankfully I'm not going to be talking about just him. I'm just giving you guys red flags. That's why I like saying that my ministry, I'm really targeting Gen Zs more than I am even millennials, because they are in a position to avoid many of the things that I could not avoid. If it was possible, I would even try and get to Gen Alpha, who are still like preteens right now, because frankly it is at that rudimentary stage where it could really make or break your future, like your decisions and how you essentially end up. Like making a decision for Christ at the age of 13, at the age of 12, 7 can make a huge difference in how afflicted you become as a woman at the hands of men who become possessive because they were once with you, because they once held hands with you, took you on dates, kissed you, and if you were fornicating, even laid with you. It gets deep. And like I said, guys, this is not just something that hits only women. I'm speaking to women because I'm a woman, but there are situations of this nature happening with men too. So it's really just counsel here to avoid recreational dating at all, whatever your gender. But I'm not here to teach men. I'm here to try and counsel or inspire women. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because that's just the role that God will give me. It's the only one I can wear. I'm not allowed to teach men. So I'm just gonna, get like, yo guys, like I said, I wish I was born again as a kid, a very young kid, enough to have avoided dating at all, and recreational dating at all, and premarital sex. Yeah, I wish I had been raised in the admonition of the Lord. So it's really important, really, as a parent, to have the back of your kids in that regard, because like some people have been essentially messed up. Their lives have been entirely just massacred by bad parenting. Yeah, so it's worth a while to get saved as a human being, so you can raise your children up in the admonition of the Lord, and so your children can also be given a fair shot at escaping some of the bullets that rammed into me like a bull. Do you understand? As I went through life, I guess the Lord allowed me to go through what it is that I went through, because I had to then come and tell these stories, but nobody's listening to them because of all of the random rubbish that I collected for myself. So look, do I have regret? Yeah, of course. I mean, I will always regret sin, but God is he's not sitting in flukes in heaven. He's not in the sky wincing at what's going on down below. He knows and fashions. He is the Alpha and the Omega. All right, he's omniscient. He's the beginning and the end. He is God. So every last one of the days of our lives, it is written in Psalm 139. He knew them full well before as yet any of them were to come to pass. So even the fact that I came to Christ at 26 was foreordained, it was planned. It could not have happened earlier. But my sorrow and my pain and my lack of comprehensive understanding of what's going on as a human being makes me just want to take back the hands of time. I wish I could. I wish I was within a different destiny. I was given somebody else's story, because the pain is excruciating, it's real, it's alive, and the regret is yawning. It's yawning. Do you understand what I'm saying? The regret is exquisite. The regret of dating at all, and not, from a vantage point really of the just the garbage I collected for myself in literally almost every last boyfriend I've ever had. Almost everyone. It was not all of them. I would be accusing the produce if I said it was all of them, but almost every guy that I ever been with has afflicted me, y'all. And I was born in 1984, so I dated guys that were, that age too. They were like 1980 babies, 1981, 82. Those are the guys that I dated. It was back then, and that this thing was an epidemic back then. It was a problem already back then. How much worse is it now? The Bible makes it clear that the times get worse with time. That in the last days, people become really horrible. 2 Timothy 3, lovers of pleasure, lovers of money, boastful, proud, etc. And then there's this category of men described therein called Jannes and Jambres, who stealthily worm their way into the lives of weak-willed women, seeking to burden them with passions. it's like a whole epidemic in the last day. So, I mean, it was already a thing back then with me. How much worse off are the Gen Zs now? How much worse off will, of course, then even in grander measure be the Gen Alphas if the Lord does not take the body of Christ home in the rapture in any minute today, like soon. There is still a future then to be enjoyed, to be endured. And, ooh, y'all, I don't know how much worse it could get. Like, I do not know, because like I said, I was born in 84, y'all, and it was really bad then. It is bad now for someone my age. We are still being pursued by this in our middle age. It's like the decisions we made in this recreational dating cesspool are literally still chewing our toes like maggots, like a flesh-eating bacteria today. It's just gonna keep tailing you until you perish. There is a celebrity in this country whose husband passed away. And after the husband died and I learned of the news, I was shocked at his passing. The man is the one who died. And as soon as I happened upon the bulletin on YouTube, the Lord said it was a human sacrifice. The person who killed him was her ex-husband. She was married before, divorced from that dude, and then remarried this dude, and they lingered for very many years. And the Lord, as soon as I watched that video, I'm not advocating marriage and remarriage. People in the world do it anyway. They shouldn't be doing it. It's not right in the sight of God. But I'm just trying to help you understand what's tailing us, okay? The Lord, as soon as I happened upon that news bulletin on YouTube, I got a word of knowledge that just flashed me, where the Lord said to me, it was a human sacrifice. He was killed. I'm not going to give the details of who that celebrity is, because I'm not here to give gossip about what's going on in the celebrity world or speculate about what went down or not. So I'm not going to highlight even how the person died, that it might be evident who we're speaking about here. It's not necessary, but I was shocked that the man died. I was saddened by his passing. I felt bad for her. And the Lord said it was a human sacrifice, and the person who killed him was her ex-husband, that he could not stand to watch them just do what they're doing. And then after many years of them building a legacy together, he eventually snapped upon watching them from a distance on social media, which is another topic I'm going to get into. The fact that our lives are that much more available for other people to see thanks to advancements in technology, the inclination of social media, the increase of everybody's uptake of it. We are a lot more surveilled by the world around us. We are seen now by people that we went to high school with in a way that historically that just wasn't the case. You know, in the past, sometimes a person that you last saw in high school, it was possible for you to literally never ever see them again. But in 2024, you probably are still seeing what's going on in the lives of people that you knew back then, because you're all friends on Facebook, or they somehow find your channel on YouTube, or they find your TikTok video or whatever. We just find each other, okay? Yeah, it's a lot easier for us to surveil each other's lives all throughout each other's lives, even though we're not actively in each other's lives. And it is also social media, therefore, that magnifies that threat of somebody from super freaking long ago, okay, making a decision that it's really rough to watch you be who you became, while they're just left behind as whatever it is that you were once a part of the life of. And then they make a decision from that distance to just massacre you. And that's what happened with the celebrity woman and her husband. He was ended by the ex-husband because he could not, for the life of him, take it anymore to observe them continuing to do whatever they're doing with their lives together. And so he ended the man's life. And then the woman was left widowed. I mentioned that celebrity story to help you understand just why it's just utterly important to just give your life to Christ young as you can. And once you give your life to Christ, if you're not that young, like if you're like me, 26, quickly just shut out. And yeah, just shut out recreational dating. Do not, I did not immediately walk in sobriety as soon as I came to Christ. When it came to dating, I was not instantly, like, I made mistakes even as a Christian, and I continued to collect these obsessive psychopaths. Look, I have had afflictions hitting me from men I was not with, like from outside, just observers, like looking on. A guy that has a crush on you, and you either reject him or he does not have the bravery to pursue you, and so you just pass right by his nose. and then he makes a decision to use a spell on you very selfishly. I have had those kinds of spells hit me, but understand the level of obsession and just feverish dedication to the destruction of a person's future that was once in another person's life. That tends to be largely inspired by you having been with them at some point. The fact that they got to be with you, the fact that they got to meet your family, they kissed you, they hugged you, they held hands with you, they took you to dinner, you ate, shared experiences, memories, you laid with each other because you were fornicating. Yeah, that is what creates the exquisite psychopath. That is what it creates devastating abusers. Do you understand? It is lingering, it is your personhood lingering in their lives for any given amount of time where you gave them a shot. You will always have attacks coming at you with a flying kick from strange randos that, like I said, look at you from a distance, think you're cute, and then slap you with korobela. It fails, and then maybe out of spite make a decision that you're not going to do anything with your life, and then they leave you alone, and then they leave you alone thereafter because it was a hit and miss. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. The ones, however, that you were with, they are the ones that I'm trying to warn against. You can't eradicate every lost witch, right? But you can minimize just how exquisite the dedication to the destruction of your life they become by keeping an arm's length, like essentially keeping them at a distance, ascertaining that they don't come in your life so that if at all they are hit and runs, they will hit and run and get out. People who they are like in the kingdom of darkness, they are hit and runs all the time. When I was working at MTN, I had a hit and run random colleague that slapped my prospects for a career. Never hit me again because it was a hit and run. Once offs, some chick that I used to live in the same complex with in the clubhouse, I met her there, and the next day she had put spells on me. Hit and run. Never came at me again. Hit and runs are manageable. They are all over the show. They're gonna happen. People in the occult are mentally ill. They slap people with sorcery that they don't know. But the ones that don't know you tend to do hit and runs, and hit and runs are manageable. It is the ones that become freaking stalkers, do you understand? That can utterly shatter the quality of your life. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're the ones that can pursue you into basically an oblivious state. And now, when you are not born again, when you have no Holy Spirit, for crying out loud, you're a dead woman if you just so happen to meet in your endeavors as a recreational dater. Do you understand what I'm saying? Somebody that is going to end up like my present ex, like the ex-boyfriend that I spoke about yesterday, making a decision that you're my Juliet and I am Romeo. Like, we're star-crossed lovers, I'm sorry. Like, you're gonna die with me. And right now I'm trying to help you understand just how devastating the situation is because it's occultic. It's occultic, right? So it's unseen. These nuisances, these menacing activities that happen are spiritual. And so you as a woman or a man, but like I said, I'm speaking to women right now, right? You will be made to appear paranoid. You will be made to appear like you've got delusions of grandeur. Karabo, who do you think you are to think that Tep was still like into you? For crying out loud. Like, girl, move on. Like, the dude is not even thinking about you. When was the last time he ever wrote you an email or sent you a text? Yeah, because of the spiritual nature of it, you will literally be tormented. Uli one, knowing that this is what is being done to you by somebody and being unable to get anywhere with it until you ultimately literally off yourself. Like, some people go to the extreme of suicide because of the level of demonic torment that they endure at the hands of obsessed exes. I cannot highlight sufficiently enough to women and men, I guess, but like I said, I'm trying to speak to women right now. Recreational dating, just dating, because you know your hormones are having a field day with you. You're an adolescent and you have got these gargantuan feelings in your heart for some dude in school, some dude in your lecture hall at university. Yeah, hey y'all, get saved young if you can and avoid recreational dating and seek the Lord's face for a husband and wait patiently for him and allow him to be the one to vet a man for you. Because, hey guys, we are in the 21st century and especially in Africa, there's a lot of witchcraft being practiced. I am tired of telling these stories because I've been telling them on a loop. But like, I tend to tell them one at a time in each story segment. Like in each video, I would speak about just one person. Now I'm just going to clump them all together so you can gauge my collage of experiences as a woman who went through life as an adolescent, then young woman that was dating recreationally in the world, and what under heaven that has caused me to collect for myself as torment, essentially, that I am making war with today. And this is the job that God will have me do. This is what the Lord will have me do. My redemption, the Lord used it to make me tell the story because it was a big enough problem. My hope is that there are other women raising these issues, because I can't be the only one, especially considering I'm so under-perused. Thankfully, however, the world is literally coming to an end. So warning and constantly warning people. Thank God it landing on deaf ears is no longer going to be the problem of the church. So I'm just sending one last, warning, if I can, if I want to call it that, to a dying earth. Should the Lord give us another 10 years to go, which I doubt though, then avoid this stuff. I can't even I speak to binary code worth of an audience. I feel as if even the content that I am doing right now, I feel like it's only going to get listened to once the rapture has happened. So it's going to be all just a waste of time. But perhaps maybe then, when you listen to it at that stage, you will realize why the world had to end. Because this is a serious problem. It's a serious, serious problem. Men and women's sons and daughters are being taken for a crazy ride. Spiritually, absolutely made to be bereft and destituted. Do you understand? Because they met the wrong little psychopath that somewhere along the way in his journey as a person growing up got introduced to the occult by who we don't know. We don't know, but they got introduced into it and then decided that they're going to handle and control their significant other with it. It's happening it's ubiquitously occurring in these streets to so many women. Like I said, it's also happening to men, but I'm trying to speak to women. It is happening to so very many people that y'all cannot afford. My situation is extreme because the Lord has set me apart to do this job. So I'm being resisted for the message I'm speaking. And that's why my life looks like this. But how it is that this looks later on in life for people that have not gone to war with the kingdom of darkness in this regard is that you are in some flatlined, lackluster, catatonic, comatose, deadbeat marriage with some rando or side cousin that is unintimidating, non-threatening to literally the whole trail of cadavers of exes that you left behind. That's what it looks like in a life that does not look as cursed as mine. I'm not cursed. I am blessed. I've been spared. Top of that, I have this job to do, so therefore I am resisted. And that's why life is so bad. But I need you to understand that on the other side, this is what this looks like. Either you're in this flatland, comatose, catatonic marriage, or you are HIV positive, single at 45, having contracted it from somebody that was induced into your space, your ecosystem spiritually, pulled in as with a noose by your ex to make sure that you end up contracting the virus and so never marry. Or you're a baby mama of 2 different men, 5 kids, 2 different men, none of them made a decision to marry you. That's what it looks like eventually. You're successful, you're doing well in your career, you can take care of those 5 kids and your baby daddies are there for the kids, but you never got married. Or you finally did get married with what do they call it? A blended family, where it is that the dude came with his 5 kids and you came with your 5 kids, and the 2 of y'all with your 10 kids then raised them together into the sunset. But all the people to whom those kids belong refuse to make an honest woman out of you. But when you get to then 43, that's when finally you make a decision to get married and make a blended family with some other dude that is coming with a whole creche of kids too. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like in the end. It does not look super cursed. It just looks like life happened. A woman that was supposed to be in a stable, steady, loving, doting marriage with a man, and the 2 of them go and make 27 kids together. Something that stable, that solid, that enduring, that long-lasting, that full of fortitude and the glory and the grace of God. Something that is emanating the virtue of true marriage and true romance. It's eluded you. It's eluded you. It's eluded you. You were supposed to be the woman with the picket fence and the 7 kids by one man that is going to love you at a silver anniversary, golden anniversary. You are just still pushing love together. You were supposed to be that. But then, like I said, blended family, divorcee of 2 kids, you're a divorcee of 3, and the 2 of y'all marry each other, and then you go on right ahead to continue to finish raising those kids together. That's what it looks like. That's what these curses look like. It's a serious problem. So do not look at me and say that I'm an extreme case. Karabo women are not sitting around in these streets living in the backs of their mothers' houses gathering dust, unable to come up for air, struggling to breathe. That's what's good. Yeah, my case is extreme, and most people don't have my outcomes, but they have those. My situation is like this because, like I said, chosen for this job, resisted severely, therefore, it is what God will have me do. And I have also been saved and protected from that which would have ultimately become my eventuality, my end result. I was spared from it. God saved me from being the woman with the blended family. God saved me from being an Alicia Keys, if you know what I'm saying. God rescued me from allowing myself to just get taken by some dude with an ex-wife and 4 kids. And then I just walk down the aisle to him, and the 2 of us start something new. Or me be a baby mama of 2 by some dude that never made an honest woman out of me. And then I, at the age of 39, marry some dude that is also a baby daddy of 4. And then the 2 of us just go and raise those like 6 kids, finish it off. Every so often, some of them come visit because they are rather with their moms instead of the dad, who would be my husband. That's what that looks like. That's what cursing your prospects for marriage looks like. That's what messing with romance looks like. That is what an obsessive ex is trying to do. And now, if at all your situation is unintimidating, if it's non-threatening, do you understand what I'm saying? If your situation is non-threatening, it's the kind of stuff that makes your ex then stand back and be like, whatever, she can go on and continue to do a strange thing with this lackluster husband of hers. It is all about, I will always have been the best one that she was with. It's all about, our relationship will always have been the best. And it's always about, she will forever spend the rest of her days wishing she had not left me. Because then her life would not be like that. Essentially, trying to get a person to feel as if though you don't know what you had till it's gone. Trying to make himself look like he's the thing that was the one who got away, that you were iffy and pedantic concerning. And if you had not left him, you would not be in this situation. So your husband stays alive because he's intimidating. He's non-threatening. Your wife stays alive because she's non-threatening. Do you understand what I'm saying? From the vantage point of some buffoon looking at you, surveilling you from Facebook, surveilling you from Instagram, surveilling you on social media, on your YouTube channel if you have one. And if at all you are non-threatening, they'll leave you alone. But if you have got a freaking fabulous, wonderful, fantastic marriage with somebody that is out here doting over you, making out of you a very covetable woman, that's when the man then starts to like meet with rest in peace. That's when your fabulous life then starts to make out of you a widow. That's the kind, like, I'm trying, hey, yo, you need Jesus, all right? I'm getting into this. I'm trying to be as succinct as possible, but I struggle with succinctness. I struggle with it. I'm always meandering, you know, beating about the bush because I really want to drive a point home. Yeah. So forgive me for my long-winding general disposition. Let me give you the perpetrators that slapped me, my dating cesspool, the shoddy endeavors that I partook in that landed me in this horrific situation that I am in today. I gave my life to Christ, okay, at 26. When you give your life to Christ, you conquer these issues. Mine, however, is not conquered yet, precisely because I had the story to tell. There are too many women in this position. I had to be a monument, an example, to explain what to avoid and what to, rather embrace, okay? First love, my first love, the first dude that I ever said I love you to, slapped me with, you will not be happy in marriage, witchcraft, purely because, like, I am cutting these stories short. This dude, I fell in love with him when I was 16, going on 17. And then when I was 23, when I was 23. At the time when I was 23, I was dating my ex-boyfriend, right? The one that I'm always talking about. Yeah. We dated when I was 16. He was my first love and my first at all. Sexual too, right? He broke my virginity. That guy. Fell in love with him at 16 going on 17. Oh goodness, guys, these stories. Anyway, whatever. I broke my virginity when I was 17. We broke up eventually because it doesn't matter. The reasons why we broke up are irrelevant because then my stories are going to be super long. Okay. This dude lived in the East Rand of Johannesburg, right? And went to a particular high school in the East Rand of Johannesburg. When I was 20 years old, working in Rosebank, when I was 19 years old, working in Rosebank as a casual in some store, part-timing because I was a student at the time. There was a dude that came into the store that liked me, thought I was pretty, all that jazz. I was single. And we exchanged numbers and I started dating him. And this dude used to live in Thokoza, which is also in the East Rand of Johannesburg, right? I started dating this dude from Thokoza. Type establishment thing, whatever. That relationship did not last very long. It was kind of fluffy. Yeah, honestly, he wasn't serious and neither was I, etc. Type establishment thing. That Thokoza relationship came and went. Plus, he was too far away for me to stay with him. I didn't have my own transportation, neither did he, and but it was just too much, right? I lived in the west of Johannesburg and he lived all the way in the east. Anyway, whatever. So I dated this dude briefly, a little rapper. He was a rapper in the country. Part of a band of rappers, right? A well-known band at the time. Anyway, whatever. So this dude was like a rapper dude. I dated him very briefly, and yeah, when I was 20, and I came to learn when we were together, when I was 19, 19 going on 20, like I was first or second year at Wits or whatever. I came to learn during the time when we were dating, fraternizing with each other, that he went to a particular high school in the East Rand of Johannesburg. When I heard that he attended that high school, I was like, oh snap. In my mind, though, I didn't ask him, right? I thought to myself, this guy probably knows my ex-boyfriend, because my ex-boyfriend also went to the same high school. He also went to the same high school, right? That relationship did not last. I never ever crossed paths with him and my ex. He was not friends with my ex. They were in different grades altogether. They were just in the same high school. That's it, right? That's what's good. Fine, that relationship ends. Unfortunately, okay, fine. So this happened when I was 19 years old. All right, 19 going on 20. Life happens. I then meet my boyfriend, the one that would be the long-term relationship. And we date for however long it is that we date. And I'm in that relationship now at 22. That's when I started dating this guy, this other boyfriend of mine. Yeah, whatever. And somewhere along the way in my relationship with my ex-boyfriend, because I remember when I found out that this had happened, I was with my boyfriend and we had booked into a hotel, like, yeah, and I saw on Facebook as I was scrolling through it, the notification, this guy passed away, right? The guy that I dated when I was 20 that went to the same high school as my ex-boyfriend. So my ex-boyfriend, the one that I wasn't serious with, the rapper, right? The one that was the rapper, that I met in the store where I was working, and we dated briefly, that went to the same high school as my first love. Yeah, that's what's good. I got a Facebook notification, rest in peace dude, right? And my heart was kind of broken. I was like, oh my goodness, whoa, this dude is my ex, like he passed away. And I'm like with my ex-boyfriend at the time. At the time, he was my actual boyfriend. I'm like, my goodness, one of my exes just died. Like, I just came across a notification over here that the dude is late. Type establishment thing. What a fish pay. So at that stage, we could have been dating, my ex and I, maybe like a year. So I was 23 now, because we started dating when I was 22. So I could have been like 23 now. So I meet my first love when I'm 16, 17, he breaks my virginity. Our relationship does not stay together. We didn't break up immediately. No, he didn't use my body for sex. That's what I'm trying to get at. He didn't like hit it and quit it or whatever. But the relationship did end. Type establishment thing. Here is a dude that I was lost with when I was basically like say 17, 18, right? Yeah, our relationship was like a year long or something. 17, 18. Here it is that last time I saw this bugger was when I was like 18. Okay, 18, 17, 18, whatever. Yeah, last time I saw him was when I was 17. And here it is now that I am 23. So I mean 17, that's like 5 years, right? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 6 years. Here it is that 5-6 years later, somebody passes away that I know, and I then catch wind of it. I then go to the funeral of this guy, right? Because I found out on Facebook what's going on. I went to the memorial service and the funeral and everything. I actually saw, did I see my ex at the memorial? No, I saw him at the funeral, right? Yeah, I saw at the memorial, I was there, but I didn't see my ex. But I saw him at the day, on the day of the funeral, at the after tears, you know, this after tears nonsense that people do, yeah, type setup thing. I didn't go with my ex. I went with my cousin, because my ex was not about to accompany to the funeral of an ex-boyfriend. Type setup thing. I go to the funeral of this ex-boyfriend and with my cousin, and I see my ex. This is my first love. I still my heart still skipped the beat when I saw him. I never really truly got over him. I left him because he was a jerk. He was acting a total jerk towards me. And that's why I got out of that type establishment thing. I was the one who left, right? And we then hug. It appeared all cordial and everything. And then he, makes a joke at the funeral that here's the woman, as he's introducing me to his friend, he's like, here's the woman that broke my heart. She just walked out on me type thing. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't break your heart, dude. I think you've got this all wrong. You broke mine type setup thing. Anyway, whatever. We made it a whole joke. We hugged. He hugged my cousin. And it was good, cordial, Turns out that he knew the guy that died from his high school. And he was a paramedic. At the time, his job was that of a paramedic, and he was actually one of the responders to the scene of the accident. He passed away in a motorbike accident, which is really horrible, right? A motorcycle accident with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend immediately passed away while the guy died in hospital, right? They were like, it was just terrible. Some truck rode over them at night, and it went over his body and over her head, and she just died like straight away while he went to the hospital. Yeah, and he was there. He was the paramedic that responded to that scene, and he came to learn that, oh my goodness, whoa, like I know this guy, he's from my high school. He's my junior, because he was younger than my ex. The ex who died was younger than him in school type things. Like, I know this dude, like, whoa, what have you, what about a fish paste, etc. Like I said, they went to the same high school. He was the paramedic that responded, so he gave us the gory details of what in the world went down after this dude, like how this guy died. He died on the ER table being operated on, what a fish paste, etc. Yeah, and it was all like a whole gory story. We listened, fine, cool. Yeah, we were cordial. Okay, we were totally cordial. Nothing, no beef, no bad vibes, no strange energy, nothing. He then he also was like, over there's my fiance, right? And the fiance of which that he was speaking with about was heavily pregnant at the time. So I'm like, oh, okay, you've got a baby mama on the way. What a fish paste do you? Go on, like, be merry, be swimming and fly like a butterfly. He goes his own separate ways. He never saw my boyfriend because I didn't go to the funeral with my boyfriend. I went with my cousin, right? And that's it. He went his way, I went my way. And never saw him again after that. Literally never saw him again. So it's 6 years since we last saw each other. We are cordial. We are seeing each other at a funeral. We're cordial. And then he goes his merry way. I go my merry way. And guys, only when I came to Jesus Christ, because that's when the Lord would show me all the witchcraft that was done to me, because I never would have understood it prior to salvation. I never would have understood it prior to salvation what I was seeing. I never would have understood. Yeah, you get my point. Yeah, I came to learn that after that funeral, after he saw me at that funeral, unfortunately for me, I think it would have been ideal if I never saw him again and he never saw me either. After that funeral, he made a decision that I'm not going to be okay in marriage. I'm not going to marry well, if at all. I'm not going to be loved. I'm not going to love anyone. I'm just going to be stranded. And I would then go on right ahead to get a horrible nightmare, a dream, once saved, with me being developed in my spiritual gifting. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where it is that this dude is out here flirting with me, fraternizing with me, thoroughly groping me, sexually harassing me in a dream, in the boardroom, in the office, at my work, with his wife, sitting in the same boardroom, not upset, she was sad, she was heartbroken at the fact that her husband was trying to cheat on her with me in front of her. But this whole setting was happening at my offices. It was happening at work, where it is that he was under the table, literally groping and touching me under the table with his wife away. And I was like, what are you doing? Leave me alone. Your wife is right over there. Your wife is right over there. Your wife, the woman that was heavily pregnant that he said was his fiance at this stage, was already his wife now. And I was like, your wife is over there. What are you doing to me? You are trying to disrepute me by making me look as if though I am content with doing this with you when I am not. I don't want to be a home wrecker. I don't want to be the person that is the bane of a woman's existence. You are flirting with me. What's going on? This dream ended with this dude sexually harassing me, accosting me. And when I woke up, I was like, what in the world was I seeing? It would only be like years, like maybe a year and a half, because I was at this stage really new in my faith. So I lost my job and everything at MTN like 3 years once I was born again. It would only be after losing everything that I would start to put the pieces of the puzzle of my prophetic dreams, all of them that I got together, to understand Kimang, who has done stuff to me? Because I got all these dreams, a lot of them, while I was still okay and thriving. And when I would wake up in the morning, I would crease my forehead on some, what in the world was that? And move on. Only once I was in so much sorrow and suffering so very much from demonic attack and recognizing that witchcraft is like a whole reality for South Africans. That's when I was, like I said, putting pieces of the puzzle together to realize that that guy, my first love, that I had mad respect for, we had cordially parted ways. There was no bad blood between us, but he held a grudge. There was something in him that felt possessive of me. The man would go on right ahead to marry his own lady, but then he made a decision that the woman that he was with when he was 18, I was 16 at the time of meeting him, right? The woman that he met when he was just 18 years old. 18. He's an 18-year-old young man. I'm a 16-year-old girl. And he makes a decision to destroy my prospects for love when I was just an unassuming, impressionable 16-year-old whose life would be shattered, whose prospects would be devastated by a guy that was at the time of meeting him also just 18. Like an 18-year-old making the decision to destroy the future of a 16-year-old. However, when he is 25 and she's 23. Yo, guys. I mean, literally, they chart the courses of people's entire destinies. And I met this man at just 16. So my life was done for. My first love. There was one other guy that I dated before him, but he was the one that I really loved. Yo, guys. My first love. The dating cesspool. I dodged, like the first dude that I dated didn't hit me with sorcery, right? That was the only reprieve I had. Like, it was literally over for me before it started. The second guy, the guy who broke my virginity was the first abuser of my person in this regard. My life was essentially over when I met this guy. And I was only 16. That's why I get a recreational dating. My goodness. You don't know who you are meeting when you're 15 and he's 17. When you're 15 and he's 15. When you're 17 and he's 19. You don't know who you are meeting when he's 20 and when you're 20 and he's 22. You have no idea that this person could literally alter the course of your life's destiny because they would feel now possessive of you, like you're theirs or you're mine. That dream was a licentious affair, adultery type dream, inducing in my bones disrespect for marriages. That's what that dude was doing, just making me an immoral woman when he's the one that took my virginity. I'd never been with anybody before him. And then he wanted to make me an immoral woman, just groping at me from underneath a table in front of his wife, with me having he was attempting to make me have no regard for his wife. But I had regard for the wife and was disquieted by the unsettling heartbreak of this woman who is doing nothing about the awareness of even her husband trying to cheat on her with me. And the dream ended with me still trying to swat this guy off. And frankly, I believe the only reason why I was able to swat him off in my dream, why in my dream I had the reaction of, what are you doing? I'm not trying to be this homewrecker, was because I was saved. I got this dream only once I was saved. So essentially, this dude, when he afflicted me with the sorcery prior to me getting saved, I was supposed to end up a wayward woman. But my redemption saved me from being that way. That's why I resisted him so much in my dream. I resisted him. So basically, my first love, the guy who broke my virginity, made a decision that I'm going to become the office harlot. A woman that's flirting with married men in the office. That I'm going from being this innocent virgin girl that he met to being the woman who is messing with other women's husbands. Like, when somebody goes to a sangoma just to ask for that, to ask for a woman to be made wayward so that her reputation would be decimated. Everywhere she goes, she would be the bane of the existence of married women. When a man just goes to a sangoma to ask for that, guys, what in the world is going on there? When a man makes a decision to make a woman a harlot, to make her sexually promiscuous, the fact that witchcraft, the cocktail of petitions that can be taken to sangomas, can get to that height. This here is a weapon of mass destruction, and I keep saying that. I don't know why witchcraft is not regulated, because people can literally ask for the transformation of entire personalities to occur in people using sorcery, cause a demon to come into a woman or to afflict a woman until she sleeps with a married man when she would never have gone out like that before. Just influencing a person's destiny, stealing, robbing them of their autonomy. He tried to make me a mistress, a lifetime mistress. And the only reason I resisted, I believe, was because at that stage, and you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if his sorcery was actually partially low-key working, because the situation that I was in with my ex-boyfriend was so taxing, right? The man that I was with just before getting born again, the last relationship that I was in that was long and within the recreational space, that relationship was so, like, I just got a vision now, like, even as I'm talking to you guys, of just a whole bunch of eyes looking at me in a monitoring fashion. I don't care. I'm going to call out your rubbish. This nonsense with all of your occult involvement. I am not scared of the occult. I'm not scared of what you call monitoring spirits. I will speak my mind to help people come out of the darkness, and you will keep on bewitching it until you are thrown in the abyss. Do you understand? And with your freaking mirrors. I don't care. Gizokuluma. And eventually people are gonna listen. Yes, that's where I lost left. Thank God I did not lose my bearings. Yeah. My relationship with the last guy, Lena, was always on such shaky waters because I was always so dissatisfied with what was going on over there. So many issues, and I'm going to get into that one ultimately in this discussion. That's what's good. That I was always with my eye out in the sky for somebody else because I was an unmarried woman that was disquieted with her present boyfriend, and I wanted to be a married woman one day with a man that I did want to be with. So essentially I was prepared to leave my ex for somebody better. That's what I was thinking in my mind. So with me having that periscopic general disposition about my person, my ex is the one that put me in a position to have that to be that periscope. You know that song, yeah? Jennifer Hudson, I don't like living under your spotlight just because you think I might find somebody worthy. That guy, that ex of mine, was indeed that. Like on some proper. If you treat me right, you won't have to worry. If you treat me right, you won't have to worry. If you do what is right by me, you wouldn't have to worry. But you are worried right now because you're literally dropping the ball in the worst way. So because my eyes were always hovering around, scanning these streets, basically prepared to be pursued by somebody that I would be happy D guy for, I ended up you could say accommodating, sort of kind of flirting to, like, there are 2 guys, 3, quite a few that I would have. The one dude did actually want me. There are 2 men that I would have, if at all these dudes acted right where I'm concerned. I would have left my ex like pizza parafini. Like I would have left him day before yesterday for any of those 2 guys, right? There is, during a time when my ex and I were broken up, there is one dude that I actually went on a date with, and we kissed. We didn't have sex though, and I felt really bad because it was just so short, the time between my breakup and this, that I just felt like I was cheating even though we were broken up. So I left him, and he was, even at the time when I walked out of that, he was like, I expected that you would, because I could tell that this was going to be short-lived, because you come from something else that you were highly unlikely going to be prepared to just let go very quickly type setup thing. Yeah. And I went back to my ex-boyfriend because I felt bad. But I will explain to you yini futi that made me share that guy and go back to my ex, even though I was accommodating him for a season. One guy in that relationship that I was with my ex with, I actually did go on a date with, but then there were 2 guys that I would have left him for. Right? My eyes were always panning, and we were always on and off breaking up. And during one other breakup, I went on a date with a dude that this time around, unlike the one from Wits and the other one that I was with briefly for like 2 weeks, okay? Yeah, type establishment thing. Yeah, this time around, this dude was in a relationship and I was in a relationship. At the time of us meeting, he used to work for MTN. He was in a relationship. I was in a relationship. We liked each other. And during a time when I was single, he then decided that he's going to take me out on a date. Nothing happened on that date. We didn't make out, nothing at all. No kissing, nothing. But just the fact that he was in a relationship when we went on that date and I was single, that was me already starting to accommodate, essentially stealing a man from a woman. That was the first time in my life where it is that I had absolutely no regard for the fact that a guy had a girlfriend. I had no regard for it. I had always minded that business before. But this time around, I wanted him, and I was going to take him, if at all he was prepared to be taken. And that was just before my event. Okay, that relationship, it did not pan out. He went to girlfriend corner, and I went back to my ex-boyfriend. We got back together again, and then eventually we would break up. But that was the last sort of kind of flirtation with an unfaithful man that I was engaged in. I was already, that mindset was creeping on me. That's what I'm trying to explain. I was already in it. The fact that I went on a date with a guy who, on that date, on the day of the date, he had a girlfriend. He had a girlfriend. We went to some soccer stadium and watched a match between Orlando Pirates and Chiefs. And the next day, I would go on his Facebook and learn, discover, because he was my friend on Facebook. I would then learn and discover that him and his girlfriend, right go matching that thing, when he was with me, were chatting on Facebook, where it is that she was a Pirates fan. Pirates won that match. He was Chiefs. Chiefs lost, however, it got the first goal. But then Pirates ended up winning 2-1. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was the MTN 8 final type setup thing. Yeah, this dude was literally chatting with his girlfriend on Facebook about this match. And when Pirates won, the girl was like, yeah, my team won, haha, laughing at her boyfriend. And I could not, and then the boyfriend guy liked her like did a thumbs up, her little comment on some, yeah, Pirates won. And I was like, my goodness, this dude was thoroughly out here communicating, chatting with his girlfriend through Facebook while he was with me. That was my first experience of being a side piece as well. Like I had never in my life been a side piece until that day. It's what made me decide, this here is not going to work. I'm not doing it. I refused to let this guy string me along because I could tell that Megafuna, he wanted me to be a side piece like that. Seeing as I was happy to accommodate this, I got back together with my ex, realized that I'm not made out for the life of a side piece. Neither was I trying to be a side piece. I was trying to take this guy from a girlfriend yakon. But that kind of mindset, like I said, I never had wonder until that date. That was the first time in my life that I was ever prepared to take a man from a woman. He was a boyfriend, not a husband, but already the mindset was in me. The mindset was in me. So basically my ex-boyfriend succeeded. His witchcraft was in operation. It was rubbing its hands, ready to eat some grub. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then I got born again. I got saved. Already I was starting to become a little adulteress. I was starting to become a seductress that would take a man from a woman. I was starting to become a bit of an Angelina Jolie, Alicia Keys in these streets. I was fast starting to become that girl. And then the Lord saved me. The Lord saw it fit to show me that dream. Only once I was saved. What? The fact that my ex-boyfriend, my first love, who I dated when I was just 16, did that, changed my character like that, grabbed Imediakakdala and made her a lifetime mistress, a side piece, a woman that steals a husband. He prospered. He prospered. However, I got saved. But he prospered. He succeeded. But I got saved. Right on time. And thank God it was with a one second. Thank God it was with a what do you call this? It was with a boyfriend and not a husband. But I was first, really, first you start with taking boyfriends and then you end up with taking husbands. You first start being a side piece and then you end up being a mistress. Like that's, that's the trajectory, that's the progression of these things, type establishment thing. That was the sorcery of my first ever love. The first dude I ever said, I love you, that my heart was beating for like 20 times a minute. Yeah, that was my first ever. First boyfriend. Not first boyfriend, second boyfriend, first love. Yeah, that's what's good, okay? And mind you, even that dude, now I go soccer stadium, the one that was trying to cheat on his girl with me. One second. Even that dude, what the soccer stadium date, properly, he was not a boyfriend. We never dated. We didn't even kiss, nothing. We just went on that date. However, it was a date. That's exactly what it was. I, however, was not prepared to do anything with him on that date. And I think he was also guilty for what he was doing to Ikel van der Corner. Really, we didn't do anything on that fateful day type establishment thing. But because I got saved not long from that date, I then ditched all the random anything that I was doing in these streets with anyone, any guy that I was talking to, all of them. Yeah, this dude felt some kind of way and then hooked up sorcery to make me a side piece. In my dreams, I was his unwilling side. That's the thing. Like in my dreams, I was always resisting their witchcraft because the dreams that I got them only once I got saved. So basically, I resisted their attempt to make out of me what it is that I just wasn't because of my redemption. But if I did not get born again, if I did not get saved, goodness, in my dream, I was complaining. I was lamenting to him. But why are you treating me like this? Why are you making me a side piece? Why are you doing this to me? I don't want to be a side piece yako. And besides, your mom likes me more than even the woman that you are insisting on staying with. So why don't you just run with your mom's opinion? Yeah, that's the dream that I got with the dude from the stadium. But that dude from the stadium, I was never with him. And so because I was never with him, for real, he was a hit and run. Hit and run. I got one other dream where it is that he was getting married to that girlfriend, and at the time it would be like 2 or 3 years before they got married when I first met him. Do you understand what I'm saying? And yet I got a dream in advance of their marriage of on his wedding day suddenly seeing me standing from a distance watching him get married, and then he breaks off his marriage, his engagement, the wedding on the day, basically like a runaway groom. He became a runaway groom, like in that music video, Mariah Carey, We Belong Together, and started came to me and was like, I love you, let's us get married. I don't want to marry her. And I was like, hey dude, I'm not gonna be, again, what I said in my dream, I'm not gonna be a homewrecker. So essentially I resisted in my dream that which my first love did to me. That dude, all only confused, wako MTN, whether soccer match, whether date with, or whether Facebook communication with his actual girlfriend, while he's with some chick at the stadium, some chick of which is me. Yeah, that dude, later on, I would then get dreams about him trying to make out of me a side piece. And also one where it is that he was prepared to leave his girlfriend at the altar for me before Amunyal. And I resisted. I rejected it. I'm the one that said, I'm not doing this because I'm not going to stand in the way of a man and his woman. I'm not going to be the bane of a woman's existence, the decision of which I entered into because I gave my life to Christ. I was able to resist all that witchcraft. Kodwa, if I did not get saved, guys, if I didn't get saved, what in the world would I have done? Because of sorcery, stealing my autonomy to be Karabo. What under heaven would I have done? Yo, guys, I'm trying to help you guys understand that it's a cesspool out there. It's a nightmarish one at that. A nightmarish one. And to avoid recreational dating and waiting on God and asking Him to chart the course of your life and everybody that comes in be essentially vetted by Him can literally save you from heinous errors of judgment that you would walk in as a result of your autonomy being stolen by some buffoon from the past that you dated. That was the first boyfriend, right? You know what time is it now? It's 5, not time, so I've been speaking for over an hour. Let's move to the next part so we can continue to unravel this thing. My prayer is that people would get admonished, kids especially, to just stop jollering all over the show. You don't know what little psychopath you are with.